Severe storms broke out across the North Central U.S. We've seen some strong storms down across Oklahoma, back into Texas. We'll show you what's happening there and what's on tap for today. Some really dramatic video from up in Minnesota with a couple of tornado warnings up there. We'll be sharing all of that. We've got some good news following Hurricane Helen. We talked a little bit about a grassroots effort yesterday to provide some hope and help to people still recovering. Well, here we are again, 7 months after Helen struck the southeast U.S. and moved up and produced all that flooding back across western North Carolina. Businesses are now reopening, so we've got a good news update there. But I will tell you, I thought not only would we look at what's happening now in terms of recovery from Helen, I want to start looking ahead to the 2025 season. So if you have interest in that, I'm going to pass along the Colorado State University forecast for the 2025 season. Still waiting on NOAA to update their outlook. And we'll also talk about kind of the state of things right now as far as sea surface temperatures and what else is going on. So some different things to talk about as we look ahead to 2025, that hurricane season just around the corner. Then we're going to take a look ahead to the weekend. There's some great stuff going on. We'll explore that here in Hampton Roads, but we're also going to take a moment to look back on a career in space that has spanned decades. It's incredible. You're going to hear from one of the gentlemen that has spent more time in space than just about anybody else. I believe he's number 3 on the cumulative time spent in space list for NASA. So we're going to talk from him, hear about his career. That'll be coming up. Really, really cool stuff to get into. We're going to start off, though, taking a look at the severe weather and what's out there right now. We do have a thunderstorm watch this morning. Still some really powerful storms working across southeastern Kansas, just around the Wichita area and off to the south and now southeast of that, pushing into southwest Missouri. I think about communities like Joplin and Springfield, some areas that have been hit over the years with some really powerful storms. These are just, again, severe thunderstorms that we've been watching. There have been multiple warnings earlier this morning. At one point, a little farther to the west, there was actually a tornado warning, radar indicated, but we'll continue to keep an eye to that and show you where all that's going. Let's take you back to what happened yesterday. And this is what I really want to key on. The upper Midwest, look at all those storm reports, from heavy rain and snow to damaging winds. We had reports of funnels and some tornadoes as well. Lots and lots of hail reports as well across that part of the country. This area, though, here, Kenyon, Minnesota, at 5:55, a brief tornado was visible on video and photos. There was structure damage to a farm. Lofted debris was blown and carried downstream about a mile. So you think about this tornado not just damaging property, but lifting debris and carrying with it over about a mile or so distance. A lot going on with that tornado in Kenyon, Minnesota. You come over to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and the city of Fall Creek. Structure damage photos confirm a tornado in southern Eau Claire County. Path stretches off to the east, to just east of Augusta. And again, all of this indicated on radar, but there was also photos to confirm all of this. Thousands were without power in Minnesota yesterday as storms pushed through the area. Again, barns were destroyed, large trees toppled by the strong winds. This is video from in and around Faribault, which is about 50 miles due south of Minneapolis. A reporter at our sister station there spoke with the owner of the destroyed barn, who claimed she saw a tornado while driving home. A storm chaser came across large hail on the ground in southeast Minnesota as well. The National Weather Service urged people to take shelter yesterday afternoon. You can see the measurements here. Some of the hail came in at over 2 inches in size, so some large hail there. You know, at one point, more than 7,000 people were without power in the Twin Cities themselves. Most of the power was restored by around 9 o'clock local time last night. The severe weather threat ended just before 10 last night. All right, now severe storms can hit pretty much anywhere across the country. We're going to take a look at this again. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning with a possible rotation back down here in the northeast part of Oklahoma. As we take a look at the severe weather outlook, you're going to notice it extends today from up around the eastern Great Lakes, Lakes Ontario and Erie, western New York State, back down across much of north central and western Pennsylvania, through Ohio, southern Indiana, especially southeastern Indiana and northern Kentucky. That's where we have that level 3 or enhanced risk. We also have this other area back across north central Texas, just south of the Panhandle there. And then you've got this level 2 area across Oklahoma, Arkansas, much of southern Missouri, and right on up through the northeast U.S. You take a look, again, these storms have the potential to not only produce gusty, damaging winds, but when you take a look at the tornadic potential, you see it kind of that level 2 down across North Texas, a 5% chance of a tornado forming anywhere within 25 miles of a point, anywhere shaded in this brown area. Same thing, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. So folks need to be ready. Again, anywhere across the country, but you know, when you typically think of the Midwest, you think about some of these areas when it comes to tornado, it's for good reason. Let's bring in meteorologist Hunter Force to talk about the number of tornadoes we see typically across the United States and where they're most common.
Certain states are more prone to tornadoes than others, primarily due to their geographical location and climate. The states that see the most tornado activity is commonly referred to as Tornado Alley. This region includes parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota, which typically see the most tornadoes in the month of May. In addition to Tornado Alley, there's also Dixie Alley. That includes states like Alabama and Mississippi. This area of the country typically sees the most tornadoes in the month of April. Now, every state in the U.S. has recorded a tornado, but here are the top 5 states that see the most on average per year. Ranked at number 1, we have Texas with an average of 124, Kansas with 87, Oklahoma with 66, Mississippi with 64, and not far behind, Alabama with 63. As for us here in Virginia, we average at about 21 tornadoes per year. For the states that rarely have any tornado reports, well, that would include places like Alaska, Hawaii, and Rhode Island. Overall, while tornadoes can occur anywhere in the U.S., understanding the regions most affected helps in preparedness and safety measures during tornado season. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forst.
Hunter, some great information there. Now, again, you can see the chances for tornadoes later through the day. Greatest right here from the eastern Great Lakes down across the Ohio River Valley, back down through the southern part of Missouri, northern Arkansas, and then back into parts of Oklahoma and Texas. You know, there are a lot of myths about the warning signs of an incoming storm. Take a look at these mammatus clouds, okay? One common belief is actually backed by science. Again, we're going to bring back meteorologist Hunter Force to explain why some clouds seem to turn green and what it means for the storm ahead.
Have you ever been in a thunderstorm or noticed one coming towards you and wondered why the sky looks green? If not, that's okay, because it doesn't happen quite that often. A green sky during a thunderstorm can sometimes signal severe weather, though that's not always the case. This greenish hue occurs due to a combination of factors involving the scattering of light and the specific conditions within the storm. Thunderstorms are typically associated with cumulonimbus clouds towering into the sky that can reach heights up to 50 and even 60,000 feet and contain a significant amount of water and ice. When sunlight passes through these dense clouds, the shorter blue and violet wavelengths are often scattered out, leaving longer wavelengths such as red and yellow to pass through. This similar process is why the sky appears blue on a clear day, due to the scattering of shorter wavelengths by the atmosphere. The green color specifically arises when the sunlight interacts with the water droplets and ice particles within the storm clouds. The reddish yellow light passing through the storm clouds can be scattered by the water and ice particles in a way that creates a greenish tint. This effect is most pronounced when the storm is approaching sunset, as the angle of the sun can enhance the scattering effect. The green color can also indicate that there's large hailstones within the storm. Hailstones reflect and refract light in a way that can contribute to the greenish coloration of the clouds. This is why green clouds are sometimes seen as a warning sign of severe weather, as they can indicate the potential for hail. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forrest.
All right, Hunter, more good stuff there. And before we move off the modest clouds and talk about the hail potential, I just wanted to give you one more look. You know, when you see these clouds, and this is typically on the base of a towering cumulus cloud or a cumulonimbus cloud, a thunderstorm, you see this. This is actually some air that's punching downward. This is really a lot of times very indicative of a lot of violent upward and downward motion within that thunderstorm. So again, you see those ominous kind of pouch-like, you know, little protrusions coming off the base of the cloud. This, again, an indication of some hail. And as Hunter mentioned, there's a refraction of the light from the hailstones, and the way the light is scattered, it produces that greenish tint. So how about the hail potential for the region? Again, you see some of those areas where we were looking at the higher threat for potential tornadic development up around the eastern Great Lakes, back through the Ohio River Valley. But it's a little different with hail, and I wanted to show you this area with the most significant threat hashed out from southern Missouri and northern Arkansas across Oklahoma, and then this other area that was also highlighted for potential tornadic development back across Texas. So pretty good chances for substantial severe hail. That's 1 inch or greater diameter hail back down in this area. Of course, we'll continue to watch all of that. Gusty winds, also a big concern. Now, for tomorrow, you saw what it was today. It extended all the way up through here. You'll notice that kind of goes away here. We're going to see that front kind of sagging in, but it doesn't look like the severe weather threat is that great for the eastern U.S. It will continue to be an issue, though, back across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and into Arkansas. So that's the severe weather threat for Wednesday, and there is that level 2 or slight risk for the Dallas, Fort Worth areas up through Oklahoma and then through central Arkansas. By Thursday, it's a level 1 or marginal threat, which extends again from around Lake Erie on south and southwestward back down through central and eastern portions of Texas. So we'll continue to watch all of this over the next couple of days. I wanted to give you that outlook. Now, not only do we have to worry about hail, tornadoes, powerful, potentially damaging winds, we also have to worry about heavy rainfall. And when you look at the flooding potential back across parts of Texas and Oklahoma, this area here, a level 3 threat. That's a moderate risk of excessive rainfall and flash flooding. So I expect that to be an issue for parts of Oklahoma and Texas, especially potentially across southern Missouri. I got to tell you, these folks here, they really don't need any more heavy rain. They've been dealing with flooding issues at times. And right now, as I just was updating the drought monitor, we were looking at that. This area here is fine on rainfall. They still need some rain back down across the southwest. A little bit of rain here over West Texas. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when you get this flooding rain potential, this is over an area that's already had ample rain so far this year. You look ahead Wednesday morning through Thursday morning, and now that level 3 threat shifts a little farther to the east, more of Oklahoma, western Arkansas, and southwest Missouri. Again, additional threat there, that level 2 threat all the way up to the St. Louis metro area. Looks like it extends along I-70 and just south of 70, so Columbia, Jeff City, back down through Springfield and Lake of the Ozarks, those areas across southern Missouri. They need to be watching for some potential flash flooding. That's Wednesday morning through Thursday morning. And then looking ahead Thursday to Friday, you can see the threat is somewhat diminished, although this can change over time. You certainly want to check back for that potential flooding if you live across the Ohio River Valley. Right now, it's just a level 1 threat, but I'd say anywhere from the Ohio River Valley through the Mississippi, the mid-Mississippi Valley, certainly Missouri, and back down through Arkansas and along the Mississippi River on the Mississippi state side. Now, one other thing to think about, all of this heavy rain that we're expecting over the next couple of days and even back up into this area, it feeds into those river basins. So even though that excessive rainfall may be a little farther to the west, if it eventually winds up feeding into the basin, that could also spell some trouble a little bit later farther south along the Mississippi. So we're going to be watching all of this for you over the coming days. Take a look at how things play out with our future cast. And this is, again, one of our models here. This is actually the graph model that I've expanded to show what's going to happen here. You can see the storms erupting. This is a threat for severe storms. You can see from New York State back across western Pennsylvania into central Pennsylvania. And this is through this evening. Notice some clusters of stronger storms, potentially southern Missouri into Arkansas. And then this eruption of storms back across Texas and into Oklahoma. We'll be concerned with that as that little system moves along. Some more fills in. This is very heavy rain over these areas extending into early Wednesday morning. As we go later Wednesday, and now we're talking Wednesday afternoon, you get the peak heating of the day. More potential flooding rain back across Arkansas into parts of Oklahoma and North Texas there. Some more intense rain and potential severe weather moving Illinois into Indiana there around 4:30. Hopefully St. Louis gets a little break there, but some more scattered showers off to the west of that. Here in the mid-Atlantic, we have a chance for a few showers or maybe a stray storm or two as we go through the afternoon. You'll notice this part of the system, this front kind of sagging south. It's not the severe weather threat that we've seen in other parts of the country, but there is still that potential for a few stronger storms to develop. So we're going to be watching for that. Again, right now, the Storm Prediction Center does not have the Mid-Atlantic outlook for severe weather. By Wednesday evening, a little bit better chance for a few showers or storms. We should catch a break on Thursday. As you can see, some more heavy rain back across Illinois and back up through the Great Lakes region as we go through the day on Thursday. More rain back across Kentucky, Tennessee, down through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and East Texas. So that's how things are going to play out with the future cast as we look ahead through Thursday. Now we're going to take a look at a little different scenario here. We've got some good news relating to what Hurricane Helene did last year. You know, so devastating to so much of the southeast U.S., but things are looking better. We showed you yesterday one of those grassroots efforts still underway to help communities that were devastated by Helene 7 months ago. Thanks to those community efforts and help from relief organizations, more and more areas are starting to reopen in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. One of those towns hit so hard is Marshall, about 25 minutes northeast of Asheville. Local businesses there are preparing for their official reopening this coming weekend. Our ABC affiliate in Asheville talked to Marshall residents about their light at the end of the tunnel.
This is our temporary record store. We were down the street in our location, which was unfortunately impacted by the flood.
From shops to restaurants, every corner of this area felt the impact of the storm.
We signed the lease 3 weeks before Helene hit, and I only had a couple pieces of furniture in here.
But next week, some businesses in downtown Marshall is gearing up for its official reopening.
Day one, everyone just threw on their boots, got their stuff together and started working. It was, I'd never seen anything like that. It was really wild, and it was all hands on deck.
Including this shop, Main Street Comics and Games, that's slowly bouncing back.
When the hurricane hit, came down here and it looked like a bomb went off. I mean, we had silt that was like 2 feet tall. Everything was thrown against the wall. All the inventory, comics, collectibles, you know, everything was destroyed.
Now just about 80% completed.
Luckily, a couple grants came through, which was great. And so we started feeling optimistic. A lot of the community pulled together and threw together like a GoFundMe. And so yeah, we were able to get back on our feet and we're getting back. And we're gonna open May 1st. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited.
Kyle says he's eager to bring back a fun, safe space for comic lovers and gaming enthusiasts.
Playing with the little kids, right? Starting junior D&D again, that's gonna be hilarious. When they go to school, they have this certain boundary and curriculum that they have to adhere to. But when they're here, they can kind of, express themselves in a little different way.
In Marshall, I'm Nisha Pettyhome, News 13.
Junior D&D. Dungeons and Dragons. We'll take a look right now at the hurricane season. And again, this was 2024. You saw Helen cutting up right through there. As we went along through the season, there were some lulls, but we wound up being really active. Now, this year, we're going to talk about the hurricane forecast. We're going to start off with averages, okay? We typically average 14 named storms. Of those, 7 become hurricane and 3 become major hurricane. Those are the averages from 1991 to 2020, the last time that the Hurricane Center did the official averages, and that's what we use when we discuss whether it's going to be above average or below average. All right, last year we had an active season. This is the Colorado State University forecast for 2025. Named storms, 17. This is a little bit above average. Hurricanes, not 7, 9. 9 hurricanes, and not 3 majors, but 4 major hurricanes. Now, you see those numbers are a little bit above average. All of these numbers are slightly below what we actually wound up with last year. So the hope is that this won't be quite as active a hurricane season as we saw last year, but it's still expected to be pretty active. So you definitely want to make sure all of your preps are in place and you've thought about what you would do if a hurricane were to threaten your area, whether it's here in Hampton Roads, anywhere up and down the eastern seaboard or down along the Gulf Coast, Florida, certainly Texas. Everybody needs to think about what they would do if a hurricane were to hit your area. Looks like it's going to be pretty active. We are in a La Nada or neutral phase of the El Nino Southern Oscillation. That's one of the things we've been reporting on here from the weather desk. The other thing I want to show you are sea surface temperatures. It is still very, very warm down in the Caribbean right now and in the Gulf. As we look across the main development region, temperatures, sea surface temperatures already really warming up. So there is some concern or potential we might even get something developing ahead of the start of the season. We could get maybe a tropical system or two develop in May. It's a possibility. Typically, the season runs June 1 through the end of November. But I just wanted to kind of give you that to think about as we move forward. All right, here's a list of our names for the 2025 season. We start off with Andrea. We have Barry, Chantal, Dexter, Aaron, Fernand, Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor, Olga, Pablo, Rebecca, Sebastian, Tanya, Van, and Wendy. How many we go through, we'll wait and see, but you can bet throughout the entire hurricane season, our staff here at 13 News Now will be working to keep you updated with special extended coverage right here on the 13 News Now Plus. So when you stream us here, you'll have access to more extended hurricane coverage as well. It's going to be important that you stay up to date on what's happening. It really is pretty quiet out there right now. I will mention out on the water, we're enjoying the sunshine. Water temperatures here locally, just off the coast of Virginia Beach, we're still right around 60. That was an update. It was earlier around 59 or 58. Now we're at 60, low 60s in the Chesapeake Bay. So the water temperature's starting to come up. Obviously, it's not tropical yet. We don't worry about that as far as those warm coastal waters until we get later in the season. But we are seeing those water temperatures starting to come up even near the coast. That's a look at our boating forecast. We do have small craft advisories expected to go up late today and this evening. All right, we're going to take a look and kind of change our view here, and we're going to look back at a career in space. Since the 1960s, humans have journeyed into the final frontier to explore, to complete vital research, and so much more. Over the years, American astronauts have spent incredible amounts of time in space. Peggy Whitston holds NASA's record for the most cumulative days in space, logging an incredible 675 days. Clocking in third on this list is America's oldest astronaut, Don Pettit. The 70-year-old says he still feels like a kid, and now he's sharing what he's learned after spending almost 600 days with the stars. ABC's Lionel Moise has the story.
NASA's oldest active-duty astronaut is for the first time discussing his return to Earth after more than 200 days in space. He says the weightlessness made him feel decades younger.
I still feel like a little kid inside, and I probably act more like a little kid than a grown-up.
Don Pettit recently wrapped up his 7-month mission on the space station, returning in a Russian-made spacecraft on his 70th birthday.
As much as I love exploring space, going into the frontier, and making observations and doing the mission, you do reach a time where it's time to come home. And here I am.
He's now spent 590 days in space, over 4 missions, placing him 3rd on NASA's all-time list.
I want to do things in space that you can only do in space, and I'll worry about catching up with TV programs and things like that after I come back.
In addition to research, he says he liked to keep busy tinkering with things, once spending 3 hours fixing a $12 razor. He also took 670,000 photos while in space, often sharing them on social media.
When I'm looking out the window and just enjoying the view, it's like, oh, wow, a meteor. Oh, wow, look at that. Man, there's a flash there. What's that? And oh, look at that, a volcano going off. And it's like, okay, where's my camera? I got to record that.
And he says he is not interested in retiring. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
What an incredible career. All right, we're going to bring our attention back to the surface of Earth here, and you see the UV index for Hampton Roads today, 8.5. That's very high, only about 20 to 25 minutes, and as sunburn begins, you've got to take steps to protect your skin. Tree pollen is high. You can see the grass back down. We were moderate for the past couple of days, so it's good to see those grass pollen levels back down a bit. Looking ahead to the weekend, we've got some good stuff to look forward to, especially Sunday. On Saturday, I still think there's going to be some lingering showers and maybe a few stray storms. You could find that in D.C., in Richmond, Charlottesville, and the Outer Banks. We always like to share a few popular vacation or getaway destinations here in the Mid-Atlantic. On Sunday, you'll notice more sunshine, but it will be cooler across the region. Some showers may linger on Sunday. One of the things happening in Hampton Roads that we're really excited about, the Spring Town Point Wine Festival. Always a good time. As I mentioned, we do have that chance for showers on Saturday here in Hampton Roads. 77, they'll be kind of hit and miss. I think things improve late Saturday. Sunday's going to be the day, though. Sunshine, 73, humidity a little lower as well. So it's going to feel really, really good out there. As we take a look at our satellite and radar images, we're dry and we're going to enjoy the sunshine. This is a very straightforward forecast. No chances anything significant for rain today or early tomorrow, but as we get into the afternoon, we'll see our chances for some scattered wet weather tomorrow. Thursday should be dry again. So you see that chance, isolated to scattered wet weather. Thursday, a little drier. Friday night into Saturday morning, better chances for wet weather. That chance on Sunday, very low and mainly down into North Carolina. The Futurecast shows, again, across the area, the sunshine coming up today. Temperatures up into the low 80s. We're going to find temperatures overnight quite mild, lows in the 60s. And then that chance for a couple passing showers off to the north. Most of Hampton Roads stays dry until we get into the late afternoon and evening. This is where we start to see chances for wet weather working into the region. And tomorrow, late evening, a better chance for showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder. We are not outlooked for severe weather right now, but it is something that we will keep an eye to and let you know if anything changes. So please keep checking back with 13 News Now throughout the day, today, later this afternoon, and into tomorrow as we look ahead to tomorrow night. All right, rainfall amounts could be significant, maybe a half an inch or more, but notice the kind of randomness where you get a heavier cell coming down. Could see maybe a couple, say 2/3 of an inch or so to 3/4 of an inch. Other areas not far away may pick up very little, followed by other areas where these cells kind of pop up and move through. So it's going to be a little give and take. The NAM and the graph, two of our higher resolution models. They do produce the rain. You can see the GFS, a global model there with just under half an inch. The Canadian, the European model, lesser amounts, but all the models hint that there is going to be some wet weather. Temperatures are in the 60s right now. We're headed for highs today in the low 80s. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon, mostly sunny. We do have a few cirrus clouds working through. Temperatures up on the peninsula, lower 80s, low 80s around Gloucester, upper 70s at Matthews, slightly cooler to the eastern shore and along the Outer Banks, mid-70s as well, low 80s inland. Plenty of sunshine today. Tonight's low down around 64. Skies are going to be mainly clear, obviously milder overnight. And then tomorrow, it's going to be back up around 87. So a little bit of a taste of summer there, mostly to partly sunny early, but late day storms a possibility. Now, as we get into Thursday, a little bit of a break, some more afternoon storms potentially Friday, maybe Friday evening, some scattered showers Saturday. Sunday looks pretty good. Chance for a couple showers lingering down around the Outer Banks, but in general, we're looking pretty good into early next week as well. We'll look forward to it. Right now, I want to remind you, you can stay in touch with our forecast and have full access to our radars when you download the 13 News Now app. Scan that QR code. We like to put that up at the end of each one of our weather desks just to make sure that anybody watching right now knows how to get in touch with us and our weather coverage. That's a great way to do it. When you're away from your TV and streaming services, follow us with that 13 News Now app. I want to thank you again for taking the last half hour. Hopefully you've enjoyed this edition of the Weather Desk. I know our team here at 13 News Now certainly enjoys bringing it to you. It's a pleasure for me to be able to spend a little more time talking about things like the severe weather threats. And our team of meteorologists here like sharing those little nuggets of weather information. We pass those along as well. I want you to have a great day, and hopefully you'll join us again tomorrow morning for the Weather Desk.